Is a section of civil society groups, among them Transparency International Kenya, Defenders Coalition, Kenya Human Rights Commission, the Institute of Social Accountability, TISA, and Inuuka Kenya have distanced themselves from allegations of funding illegal protests and unruly behaviour of protesters. They are now addressing the press at Ufungamano House in Nairobi. Do listen in.
Been instrumental in Kenya's development and play a pivotal role in protecting human rights, upholding the rule of law, promoting good governance, and fostering social and economic progress. We unequivocally condemn any unlawful acts during protests. The allegations that civil society organizations are complicit in promoting illegal activities undermines the invaluable work that they have done to strengthen our society and is aimed at tarnishing the perception of civil society to the citizenry we serve. In recent months, civil society organizations have risen to initiate rapid response interventions to meet the pressing and overwhelming needs and concerns of Kenyans who have been affected by the crisis through the provision of legal aid for those arrested or abducted, medical assistance for those injured, and psychosocial support for individuals and families affected. Furthermore, civil society organizations have continued to amplify advocacy on the human rights and governance concerns presented by Kenyans. These actions, which civil society organizations have championed over a long period, should not be misconstrued as support for the acts of lawlessness and violence meted against Kenyans, and which civil society organizations have consistently called out all through the protests.
I continue. The suggestion that young people, particularly the Gen Z, are being funded to speak up and use their voices devalues their genuine contribution to Kenya's development. Young Kenyans have shown remarkable dedication and initiative in advocating for positive change. Their voices are not just essential but inspiring in shaping the future of our nation, and they deserve to be heard and respected. We are alarmed by the unprecedented violent crackdowns, abductions and disappearance of Kenyans who have expressed concern over the state of governance and human rights in Kenya. We see the intimidation of civil society organizations as an extension of ongoing general repression against civic space and human rights defenders. In recent weeks, prominent human rights organizations in the country have been subjected to an increase in acts of intimidation, harassment, and threats by the authorities, as well as threats against partners that fund their human rights work. These attacks and threats have also been unleashed upon the media and individual journalists. We call upon the government and all stakeholders to protect the Kenyan civic space. CSOs must be allowed to operate without undue interference or baseless accusations. The Constitution of Kenya guarantees the right to peaceful protest and freedom of expression. These rights must be protected and honored, not only for CSOs, but for every Kenyan.
So I'm Martin Mavenjina. I work with the Kenya Human Rights Commission, and I'll continue with the next segment of the statement. We reiterate the calls for young people and other advocates of the Constitution of Kenya to be followed to the letter. Unlawful action by goons, police, and other state agents must cease immediately. We demand for the strict accountability in the budget-making process, the thorough audit of public debt that has crippled the service, and the intersection and prosecution of all those accused of corruption and theft of public money. The rule of law is paramount, and that all parties must be held to account for their actions. In conclusion, we reaffirm our unwavering commitment to supporting democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. We stand in solidarity with civil society organizations and Kenyans that continue to champion these values, and we urge the government to recognize and respect their indispensable role in our nation's progress. This statement is signed by a collection of civil society organizations